Hey everyone, hope everybody's having a nice day. I kind of wanted to try something a little bit different on my channel. So normally I obviously stream and create content over there and then like bring it over and like make stuff on YouTube and TikTok and whatever. But I kind of wanted to like just make something a little bit more simplistic, but like kind of like a little bit longer form content. I kind of wanted to just go through my experience of starting streaming and then maybe like give some pointers for other people that maybe want to start streaming as well, or just like see some like behind the scenes type of stuff and just kind of just talk about it. Just keep it like really simple, very like unedited, just simple, kind of how like streaming starts, right? So yeah, I started streaming about a little over 3 years ago. I actually just had my 3-year stream anniversary just a couple weeks ago. But no, I started streaming 3 years ago. I was actually on Facebook initially, but then I jumped over to Twitch pretty quickly just because of the games I played. But I kind of started over there. I like didn't really know what I was doing a ton. I was also trying to make some YouTube content that wasn't really going anywhere. So I was kind of doing both of those at the same time. And then I started like figuring out like, hey, networking, that seems like a good way to grow a channel, right? Because I was like on Facebook groups that were like for streamers and stuff. And like I was just kind of in there seeing what was going on, was maybe expecting people to come like check my channel out whenever I posted like a go live notice or post or whatever. But that's not really how it works. Usually you gotta like go onto these groups or like Discord groups or like Twitter or whatever. Like they're all like good like networking locations, right? So I would go on there and I would like just kind of find some posts that seemed a little more interesting. Like maybe like people were like looking to like kind of meet other people, or just like somebody had like posted their go live like post or whatever for like Twitch, and they would have like kind of a cool comment with it or whatever. So I'd usually like drop in there, say something real quick, and maybe like go drop by their stream, and then I would like go hang out on the stream for a little bit and see what kind of streamer they are. Like if they maybe like kind of like I like their vibe a little bit or whatever, I would then usually follow them and then like come back like later on, right? And like come see what's going on, like return or whatever. So basically this is kind of just like the starting of networking, right? So I would do this networking, go to other people's streams, kind of like branching out. And then like eventually like some people would like come back, check out my stream, see what's going on, right? At the end of the day, you're really just like trying to make some friends on Twitch is like really what you're doing. A lot of those people early on are going to be other streamers. So I wouldn't like expect, because I feel like a lot of people just like jump on Twitch and they expect to see like just whatever growth, you know, people coming in, like hanging out and like checking out your streams. But like really it's like getting to other streamers, like, cause they're doing the same thing. They're like in the same boat. We're like all trying to like grow our channel. So you kind of like do it together. And so like your community is like kind of grow like it's like together. You kind of have like overlapping things or whatever. And then eventually you're able to start like bringing in like actual people. Like people like start like because your how Twitch has it set up usually is when you're playing under a certain game category, which for reference, I wouldn't recommend playing like any games that are like super popular all the time, like Fortnite, Call of Duty. Those are just going to be like just like a ton of competition basically. And so I would avoid those at least earlier on. I guess you could sprinkle them in, like, you know, and obviously stream what you want to stream. But if you do want to see some community growth, I would recommend playing games that are a little bit less popular, maybe ones that came out a couple years ago that were popular, but now are like chilled out a little bit, but there's like still a following for it. There's a ton of games out there. Like there really is. It's always changing. I try to like cycle in ones. Obviously play stuff that you're going to enjoy. That's what at the end of the day matters, right? I was starting to grow up enough, like getting into like the 5 to 10 like average viewers like category, and then like the games I was playing, I was like starting to be pushed up like on Twitch's page. Like so I was like one of like the first page of like viewers. Like whenever you pull up like a game like The Last of Us or whatever, you're gonna see like a list of people that are on there. Usually it goes by like whoever has like the most active chats and stuff and like more viewers, and right. Because it's kind of hard to get like discovered on Twitch. So eventually I was like starting to climb up these lists, and I'm starting to see like some new faces, and there are a lot of people that like aren't streaming. So that kind of comes into that. And I was still like trying to make YouTube content on the side. Like my first entire year of streaming on Twitch, I was also making YouTube content, which I definitely learned some cool stuff about like SEO stuff and just, you know, like just YouTube creation in general. I thought I made some decent quality stuff. I like learned how to basic editing stuff and hit film. So I don't regret it because of that, but I think if I would have like not focused that much on YouTube and just did mostly Twitch, I think I would have like, my channel would have grown a lot more than it is for now. And for reference, my Twitch, I'm about 2,000 followers. So obviously not like a big channel, but I've done things with my channel. I have a great community that's growing, that's very supportive, and they're a lot of fun to hang out with, and they love to come shit talk me and stuff. So it's always a great time, right? After you kind of like start like seeing those new people, and obviously you can keep like playing games like that sides, and I would kind of recommend saying that for a very long time. I still play a lot of games that are kind of like in that couple hundred like active viewers like at any given time, up to like maybe a couple thousand at the very most. There's just a ton of games in there, so I like to pick ones from there. And so I kept doing this and growing the channel more. I was spreading out to some games, trying out some new games that I'd never played before. I usually play a lot of games like it's like my first time ever playing them. Like it'll be my first playthrough, I'll play through it, and then I'll jump to another game. And I started also on Sundays having like a cozy stream that I would do. I kind of like made it a little like brand around like cozy streams on Sundays. That's become kind of a popular thing on my channel. So I would look for doing stuff like that because like I am a variety streamer. So I know not all of you are variety streamers. There are pros and cons to like being a variety streamer and then like, you know, sticking to one game. Because you see a lot of people that stick on one game like DBD or something like that. And they'll have like excellent growth and they'll like go crazy with gross, but then they just like they just get burnt out of DBD or whatever they're playing, and then they kind of like stop streaming because they don't know what to do because they jump to a different game and they lose like a mass majority of their audience, and it just kind of like kills things a little bit. So they kind of like step back and like, oh wait, it's streaming for me. Whereas variety streaming, it can be very difficult to like grow because you're jumping between games, because like every time you jump, you're obviously going to lose people. But like hopefully some people like come with you, right? And I've definitely seen that with a lot of games. And then eventually it doesn't really matter necessarily what you're playing. People start like coming for you. Like that's what the Twitch is about, is like getting to know like personal wise the streamers that you're watching. So that's kind of what I aim for. And then also something I like started to note as I was like still in the first year and then maybe like going past the first year is that Twitch burnout, where like I noticed a lot of people, a lot of other streamers, I didn't really do this, or I still don't do this, but like a lot of people would get on Twitch, they would start just streaming, just keep streaming. Like they might have channel growth, they might not, but they still were just streaming like consistently, like a ton, most days of the week, lots of hours, for like a couple months, and then suddenly they just like were completely burnt out and they stopped, like they were just done. I've seen a ton of people do that and then they never come back to Twitch. So I've always kind of like seen it like this, and I could not stream that much. That's just too exhausting. I also like making content outside of my streams, right? Because I think it pairs well with that. That way I'm like a little bit more energized for my streams, right? So I can like be all good to go. But no, I usually stream like 3-4 times a week, you know, just like a few hours each stream. That way I can like not feel super burnt out. I might not have like quite as much growth, obviously, because I'm not like streaming as much, but I was still like off stream. I was doing a lot of like networking and like content creation, because I started to like get into YouTube Shorts and TikTok, and then also Instagram Reels more recently. So I've been learning those and stuff after I kind of like stopped doing the YouTube portion, like actual like YouTube content, which I've been starting to like sprinkle back into the mix of my channel. Oh yeah, so burnout, I didn't really I didn't really feel burnout. I feel like the entire first year I was streaming, but I was like thinking about streaming like all the time. I would have like dreams about streaming and stuff, so that was obviously getting a little out of hand. So I kind of like started making it my goal over the last like year or two, just to take off like every like 3 months or so just from streaming. Like take like a whole week off from streaming. Don't go on Twitch barely at all. Don't stream, like do barely any content creation, if at all, which I did recently, but I was still kind of like sprinkling in a few things because like, it's hard for me to step away sometimes. But I do recommend for like everybody. It doesn't have to be 3 months. It could be whatever like fits for you, right? But just some kind of little breaks every now and then just to break things up. Because like you don't realize it, but like streaming like sneaks up on you. Like you're like, oh, I'm having fun, I'm having a blast. And then like a couple months go by and you're like, I'm still having fun, but I'm like feeling kind of irritated, right? And I don't know why. And then like you just take a break from streaming and then come back and you're like, oh, I just needed a break. You know, it's just like working, even though obviously you enjoy this a lot more than working, but it's still there. Like anything you do in life, it's good to take like breaks every now and then, just for like your mental health and stuff. Like don't be afraid to do that. Obviously like taking longer breaks can be a bit difficult to come back from. I've seen people take like full on year breaks and come back, and they can do it, but like it's really weird to come back from. I haven't done it myself. My longest break was like 3 weeks basically, and that was weird coming back, but it was fine. I worked out. You just gotta like get back in the rhythm, then the rust just gets like knocked off and you're going. So yeah, now at this point I'm about like a year and a half like into streaming or whatever. I've stopped with the YouTube creation, still like streaming the games that are like in that like range. Like I was playing like Subnautica, The Last of Us 2. I play some Pokemon games. I try to avoid like any games that are like brand new. I've very rarely streamed a game that like has come out like that day. I did with Elden Ring for some reason, because I was just like, I want to play Elden Ring, which worked out pretty well, but it was fine. The From Software games are also some good games to stream if you're looking for more difficult but entertaining games. People like those ones a lot. So I definitely enjoyed doing that for a very long time. And that's like I said, I started getting more into like TikTok and like the short form content, right? Because then I could like take my clips. I was very bare bones, like taking my clips and putting them on like all whatever platforms I was using at the time. Hover was another one too. There was like a specific for streamers, like a Hover. It was called Hover. I met a few people on it. It was kind of cool, but it got shut down after like a year. But no, I was making short form content just like around clips, and then like I was slowly starting to like edit them better and just like make them more appealing, right? So like I was doing that. Twitch is still going good, so I'm trying to like keep the Twitch going. I've been slowly upgrading stuff, as you can see. I started out with actually like a little, because I was, for the first 2 years I was streaming, I was just using my laptop I was streaming off. I was like had a capture card for like the majority of that time. But it was always like off my laptop, so I have like very little like stuff I could do with it without my laptop just like hitting 100% CPU usage. And I had like a little HyperX mic for a long time. Then I upgraded to the Shure mic. I had like an old Logi camera that worked pretty decently. It was a lot better than my laptop camera, because laptop cameras, at least the one I had, was just bad. And like the mic on there, those things are terrible. Like if you can upgrade pretty quick, there are some cheap mics out there that like sound pretty dang good. Like I can recommend some, and people like ask or whatever. Feel free to just comment below if you got anything about that. But no, I slowly upgrading stuff. We moved states, so this whole background like changed after like a year and a half, 2 years like into streaming. So that was kind of weird. Had to get that figured out. I slowly like added some more details like into the background and stuff. Just little stuff. You don't have to like, I feel like a lot of people like make it like it's such an effort to like just go all in on streaming stuff and just like go crazy with the setup and stuff. And it's like, I think you just like take things like one little step at a time. Just like, here, I'll add a new mic this like now, and then like a couple months later, I'll make a Discord or whatever. And then just little sprinkles of like channel redemptions or whatever for your channel. I think there's like a good way to go about kind of like developing your streams and stuff. But which, yeah, also Discord, make sure you don't have to make a Discord like immediately, but I would recommend like getting one set up. There's a lot of like really good YouTube tutorials for doing that. That's what I did, and I have like a halfway decent Discord. It's like fun to hang out and stuff. And then it's there if people want to like see when you're going live, and they can get to know you like outside of stream. And then if you got other streamers that like want to promote their streams, it's a good way for them to do that as well. Definitely recommend that at some point for doing that. You know, it doesn't have to be immediate. Like I said, it could be like a year or two in, like I was, but still something you should like check out doing. Yeah, and then also as I was kind of like moving along with my streaming thing, I was always trying to have like fun little events happening. Like one time I had a channel redemption where I shaved my beard, which, yes, I don't have the most gracious of beards, but it was weird because I shaved it and I looked like a child. So cool little stuff like that. I think is always like getting your community like more involved. That way they can feel more involved. Obviously playing games with your community members is always a great thing to do. I wish I could do more of it. I haven't done a ton of it, but it's always it's cool to do that. I definitely enjoy it, and I as a viewer too, when I'm in like other people's streams and I'm able to like play with them, it's always pretty cool. You know, I definitely enjoy doing that. So I've done stuff like that every now and then, but done like subathons too, which have always been pretty cool to do. I tried to stream at Comic-Con stuff, or like I went like an IRL stream. I like bought like an IRL setup, so I have that too now, but it didn't really go that well because the service was just terrible. So don't be afraid to like try different things. Like you could just go stream on your phone, which actually, like if you're starting streaming, you could use your phone as a camera too. Just heads up, like if you don't need your phone for everything like else during your stream, you can use it as a camera, and it's honestly a pretty solid camera. Just get like some cheap like LED ring light behind it just to like light your face up if you're doing a camera situation, right? I know PNG and VTubers are like the rising trend right now, right? Which I don't really see myself doing that, but hey, who knows? But no, your phone cameras are pretty good. Even like one that's several years old is probably going to be pretty solid for like just doing this. A lot better than like the cheap starter cameras too. Like honestly, they're pretty solid. I did upgrade my camera at one point to the Elgato face cam. It's the Pro one. I think it's like a 4K 60 frames or whatever, which is pretty nice. I know the 4K doesn't help for Twitch streams, but like if I'm making content or whatever, it's you know, it's nice to have that. And like zooming in looks pretty cool. So it's also going along with like the channel growth and stuff. Make sure you're avoiding stuff like follow for follows or like supports for supports or whatever. It's kind of just a lot of people just are like, hey, here's my Twitch channel, like, which I see a lot of this like in like groups I'm in where like people are just literally like post something and they're like, oh, come follow me. I need like a couple more followers to get like 50 for like the affiliate status. And for those that don't know, affiliates just basically you're like the first tier status on Twitch where you can like get subs and like I guess get money technically, which is very little, but you get like ads and stuff too. But I see a lot of people like doing that like affiliate push, and like other people like be like, oh, hey, my friend is pushing for affiliate, everybody come on in here and stuff, and like they always like show up and it's like great and they like have them hit affiliate, but like the second they hit affiliate, people just kind of like drift away and then like never come back, and it's like this kind of just feels a little bit artificial. Like I guess I get the pushing for affiliate because that can be difficult depending on your circumstances, but I do be careful with that, right? Like there's some stuff there that you gotta like watch out for. So just avoid like the follow for follows if you're going to follow somebody, because usually when like I'll have somebody come on my stream and they'll follow me, and then I'll go check out and see if they are a streamer, like after the stream or whatever, like maybe a couple days later. And then I'll go check out the stream, see what their stream's about. And like, if I like maybe think I'll enjoy them, I'll give them a follow and like go catch them live and go hang out with them, see what's going on. That way you like actually like, there's value to that follow, right? Like you can like create like a friendship there, right? For all you know. So definitely watch out for that, and make sure you're also utilizing raids. Raids are always a good tool. I see some people that like they'll stream for like 3-4 hours, and then like the end of it, they just end it. Like sometimes they say bye, sometimes they don't say anything at all, and it's kind of weird. And it's like, what are we doing here? Why are we here? And it's like, I think you should raid. Unless you like have like a pressing emergency, you can't raid. I think like 90% of the time you should try to be raiding. Like if you don't have time to raid, cut your stream back by 5 minutes, then raid. Like there's time to raid. If you have time to stream, you have time for 5 minutes for a raid. Because like if you send out a raid, you can be like, here's my raid. I have to go. Like you could do that. Like that's totally fine, right? Just because that way like people like in your chat, because a lot of them are also, like I said, are going to be other Twitch streamers. So they probably want to like go see other people's streams and like use that as like a form of networking and stuff. And then like you yourself too, because you could like raid people obviously that you know, but you could also like raid people like in the same game that you're playing or whatever, meet new people like that. That's always a good way to do that. Definitely recommend that. So make sure you're checking out raids and stuff. Obviously if you're being raided, make sure you're being raided like yourself, because who knows if you're having raids in or coming in or whatever. Just make sure you're like courteous to who's raiding you. Obviously, if you know them, you can like plug their channel and be like, hey, they're a great streamer. They play a lot of this or whatever. Go check them out. If they're like new, you can be like, hey, what's up? How was your stream? What were you playing? What was going on? And then usually I like to give like a little like introduction, like an elevator speech or whatever about myself. Once everybody kind of raids in and we're chilling. I know some people do the whole video thing where like you get raided and there's a video, which is fine, but I wouldn't recommend like doing a long video, because I've seen some people like have like a 5-minute video and it's like, I don't want to watch this. I just want to like chat with you. I want to like get to know you. So if you have a video, keep it short, like really very short and sweet, just to like a little boop, here it is, and then like them we're hanging out, right? That's what it should be about. Definitely don't be those people that like just flat out like ignore the raids, because some people like you'll raid them and they'll be like, hey, thanks for the raid, and then it's just like nothing, and it's like, I wish I could like rescind this raid, because this is, I don't know, it's at least you can at least like lie about being happy or whatever, right? If you don't like care about the raids. So yeah, make sure you're looking out for those people, right? So this is like a trial and error for Twitch and stuff. That's like what a lot of streaming is. It's just trial and error and whatnot. So definitely keep an eye out for that. With everything we're saying here, as far as like setups and stuff go for Twitch streaming, you don't really need a lot to start streaming. You literally just like stream off like your Xbox or your PlayStation, right? It's very simple to just go live, assuming you have like an okay internet connection. You can always like downgrade the bitrate quality depending on like what your internet connection is. So like it's not going to look the best, but at least it's there, right? So do be conscious of that. If you're looking to add like some more stuff in your stream setup, like a camera or a mic or whatever, definitely go mic first. I think mic is like the second priority. Like obviously you have like your gameplay or like music or whatever like your streams are, and then your second priority should be your mic. So you should like focus on that. Then if you want to implement a camera, I would recommend like getting something like mildly okay, but make sure you have like lighting behind it, because if there's no lighting, that camera doesn't do anything. You can buy really cheap LEDs ring lights for like $15-20 on Amazon. I used one for like 2 years, worked great. Could be a little weird to set up sometimes, but they definitely work well. I did upgrade to some Elgato key light airs that work very well for like face lighting and like creates depth and stuff, which I kind of just have like simple today. But I just take note of that, I guess. But I know like the VTuber stuff is like I said, trending. So like you really don't need the lighting for that. Right? That would just be a camera or whatever, which I don't really know if a better quality camera helps with that. I don't really know the ins and outs in VTubing. I just, am a part of channels that like do the VTubing stuff and the PNG tubing, right? I don't really have a full in-depth analysis on that, but no, yeah. And then also, depending on what you're streaming off of, you can always like, go the PC route and just play PC games, or you can capture card it like to your console or whatever. So definitely look into those. You can get capture cards for pretty cheap, actually. I think they work pretty well. I've heard good things about like $40 capture cards on Amazon. But I think if you do want to like go all in, you kind of just go Elgato with capture cards, because they have like come with like really good software, and there's like tons of customization, and just probably lasts a lot longer. I've had my Elgato capture card for like 3.5 years now, and it's going strong. So yeah, I'm assuming that's a good thing, right? But yeah. Also a little fun fact about streaming, like it may look like always like cozy in here or whatever when I'm streaming, but sometimes, actually a lot of the time, it gets very hot here, and I think a lot of other streamers have that issue too. But it's just like, I feel like we haven't like figured out like a way to like aerate a streamer's room, without like buying like a full blown like window AC unit or anything. There's like this, like fans don't really do a ton, especially like this small room. It just kind of like heats up or whatever. So I really don't know what to do about that. That's like one of the things I'm like always struggling with, but it's just, I don't know, just little odds and ends and stuff, but it's fine. Oh, also, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but if you're getting into just streaming, don't do it because you want to make money from streaming. Like you could have that like in the back of your mind, like, hey, if this like turns out to be like a thing. Maybe I can make some money off of it, like whatever, that's fine. But if you're coming in here like expecting like income, just from streaming, that's like the wrong mindset. You should be getting to streaming because you enjoy like gaming, music, whatever you're doing on Twitch, right? And then just kind of growing from there. Like just go try it, go have fun with it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. If it starts to grow and like you could turn it into like a little bit of like a hobby that pays a little bit, or even like a full-time job like some do, definitely, I mean, check that out, right? Like there's lots of ins and outs to that, so you gotta like be careful of what you're doing, right? You gotta like make sure you have a plan for that. And I also like see a lot of people that just like when they become full-time streamers, literally just stream for hours on end, like every single day of the week. And I don't know how you all do that. That just seems very exhausting. I feel like I would get burnt out so fast. I would recommend growing like before you like make that leap, maybe like make sure you have like stuff on like other platforms like YouTube and TikTok that like you have a community over there. It doesn't have to be like the same exact community, but like at least something over there. That way, like you can stream a decent amount, like more than you would if you weren't like working a full-time job outside of streaming like myself. But you have like other content that like could help you like support you or whatever. So make sure you're like diving into those stuff. Make sure you're at least trying to like make like a TikTok or like a YouTube short or whatever reel, like one day a week. I know like 2 to 3 times is like what they recommend, but like that could be pretty absurd sometimes, especially for a lot of our schedules. I try to keep to that, but it can be tough a lot, right? Like there's a lot that goes into it, especially if you're trying to like make it look decent or like trying to come up with like ideas and stuff. It can really get your brain spinning on some of those things. So there's a lot to like look into if you're like trying to expand that way. So I would definitely do some research and like look into that stuff, because I know a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm never getting on TikTok, I'm never getting on these platforms, and I'm like, well, you're probably not going to grow as well as you could if you were doing it. Like those are great locations for that, you know. Some of them, it can be oversaturated. You do have to kind of be like very smart about that. You got to like pay attention to like trends and like catching things like early on and not like diving in anything too like oversaturated, trying to like find a bit of a niche. Usually a niche is like where you kind of like start, especially like on YouTube. I've noticed like niche heavy stuff is like tends to do better like earlier on. Also, make sure if you're starting a streaming, you're like still like going out and like exercising and stuff, because like I was mentioning mental health earlier, but if you're not like at least like going out for a walk or going to the gym or whatever, it could really build up on you as well. Make sure you're taking those like little bit of breaks like every day and getting out there and doing those things. Don't like do just gaming and streaming as much as we want to do that. Make sure you're like sparing your butt and your back. You can always like get a standing desk with a treadmill or something. I don't have the treadmill. I do have a standing desk that I use quite often. It does spare my back a little bit. It's nice to just like be on my feet for a little bit. So if you can get one of those, you can usually find them like for not much more than just a standard desk. But Costco's got some actually on sale all the time. But no, there's I would look into those stuff. And make sure you're just keeping the exercising, right? Go out, maybe like throw on a podcast, go walk around the block or something. Just escape, the game, like the streaming reality for a little bit. Because like I don't know, people always like look at streaming and they're like, oh wow, they're just playing games for a living, right? And it's like on the surface, sure, yes. But like as soon as you start to like dig a little bit into streaming, like below that surface, it becomes like way more than that. It's about like balancing like your mental health like that, trying to like just grow a community and just balance like so many things that like people like just don't understand. And this is like a hobby for me. Like this is like it's definitely a very, 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 very big hobby for me. But it's still technically a hobby, but it's still like this deep, and I'm not even like it's not like a full-time thing for me. So like it's only going to go up from there, right? So like this just make sure you're like focusing on mental health and stuff. But that's just kind of what I wanted to do. So yeah, I guess that like kind of brings us up to like where I'm at nowadays with Twitch, which still kind of like the similar things. I'm still like doing a lot of the same stuff that I've been doing along this now, but like I feel like I'm more consistent with it, which also another thing to add to this. I just keep like going on tangents here. Schedules, try to have a schedule. Like I know that's very, very difficult to do for some of you. If you can at least like get one day of the week that's like consistent for your viewers, that would be so much better, right? I have 3 streams a day, or 3 streams a week that are like consistently the same time, and then usually like there's a 4th like sprinkled in there. That one's like kind of like my just wild card stream. But I still have like 3 that are scheduled. That way people like know when you're going to be live, and they can be like, oh yeah, let's go check this out. Because like if you're going to like watch like your favorite TV show and like you go to watch it and then suddenly it's just like not there because it's gonna just be streaming like the next day or something like that, like that's kind of shitty, right? So that's like the same thing with streaming. Just like if you can have like that consistency, it doesn't have to be like to the dot same exact time, but just like 5 or 6 o'clock ish, like it's at least a good start, right? You can go from there. and try to keep consistent with that, and just maybe try some different days, see what works best with you and like your audience and stuff, right? So like try to keep that in mind. Currently, I'm hoping to hit like 2,000 followers by the end of the year. Not that I like really focus on the follower amount. It's more about just like the community engagement and people hanging out, which has been very active for a while now, which I definitely appreciate. Been playing through a bunch of different games and like always having like cozy games on Sundays just to kind of like break the pace of like my more chaotic days of the week. But it's been going great, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's been a blast. I like in the back of my mind like want to make this into a full-time thing. It's not a guarantee, obviously, but if it does, I would like to pursue that route. I definitely really enjoy this stuff. But if anybody's got like any questions about streaming or anything that I've mentioned today, feel free to comment below, or you can come out and come check my streams out, which I stream Sunday, Mondays, Thursdays. I don't know why I can't remember my own stream schedule, but Sundays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Mondays and Thursdays are at the 5:30 Eastern time. And Saturdays I sometimes stream, just kind of hit or miss or whatever. But we're playing a bunch of variety games. I'm playing through Hollow Knight right now at the moment, having fun with that. I'm hoping to jump into Baldur's Gate 3 too, maybe by the beginning of next year. But other than that, I hope everybody has an awesome rest of their day, and I'll hopefully see you around.